talk about tax deed insurance and how not to get screwed if you buy a tax deed because you've put in all this research. Now you want to make sure that you protect your investment and that you don't get screwed over because the tax lien and deed business is a very profitable business. And one of the things I love about it is not a lot of people know exactly how to do it. Now, that being said, some people who don't know what they're doing will lose money in this business because they're uneducated and they just go at this thing completely wrong. So, when you buy a tax deed at the tax deed sale, generally you're going to own that property that day. Okay. Now, it's going to take some time for the deed to get recorded and things like that, but you'll have the paperwork that day for that property. So, with that, one of the very, very first things you want to do is put property insurance on that property, like boom, right after. Because worst thing that could happen is say you buy the property, fire comes, tornado comes, it floods, lightning strikes, crazy driver smashes into the place, burns down. That could be very, very bad news, or maybe somebody, slips on the property. You want to protect yourself is very important. So that is the name of the game. If you're tuning in, if you want to learn tax liens and deeds to really change your life with a real estate model, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. I'm Dustin Hahn. Most of you guys aren't subscribed. I've been doing this stuff for 20 years now. I started doing it back in the day. I was living in Canada at the time. I'd drive down to the US. I'd always get caught up at the border because it'd be this young guy bringing down money. I was working on the oil rigs at the time. And, I sold all my oil rig toys to be able to do this tax lien and deed stuff. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life because my very first deal was 42 acres in Washington. I bought it it was 40 acres for $4,200 is what I bought it for. And then I sold it for 20. And it really changed my life. And it can definitely do that for you guys as well, as long as you're willing to take action. But the key thing here is you need to know the ins and outs of this business because most of you watching are beginners. Maybe you've never done this stuff before. And I want to make sure that you learn the lessons up front so that you don't screw it up and it costs you money. So remember, just like anything, it's like a new car, right? Before you even leave the lot, that new car is insured. So with your tax deeds, same thing. We use a company called Farmers Insurance and make sure that property is insured that day. Okay. Super important. Don't forget to do this. There's been times actually where we have forgotten to do it and we got lucky. So have a system in place to insure your investment. Now, the other thing is after you buy that tax deed, what is the condition of the property, right? Is it wide open? Do you need to secure the property? Do you need to go board it up? Do you need to change the locks? You want to do that stuff because the last thing you want is people to start like squatting in the property. And I would say probably 60-70% of the time, your tax deed purchase is probably going to be vacant, depending on the area. So when you buy it, you're going to want to move fast to not get screwed, not lose your money. This is your new baby that could be making you a lot of money. Maybe you bought it for 10 cents on the dollar. Maybe you have big plans for it. So you definitely want to insure that asset. Now, we would have like an auction kit with us with some tools. We'd have a drill. We'd have a saw. We'd have a drone as well sometimes, if we couldn't see inside places. Now, the thing is with these tax deed properties, a lot of the time you can't see inside them, right? They could be, if there's someone living in it, clearly you can't see inside it, but it could be boarded up. Now, if it is vacant, then you can go look, well, I'm not suggesting this, not that I've done this, wink, wink, but if it's vacant, people have been known to peer into the window and sometimes even go inside. Once again, use your own discretion. Hypothetically speaking of people. But a lot of the times, if you can see in it, do that, right? Because you want to figure out what your budget is when you're buying the property. Because remember, you're going to make your money going into this property and you want to have a solid action plan going into it. And one of the best ways to do that, I always tell you about my book, The ABCs of Tax Lien and Deed Investing. This thing will show you start to finish exactly how to do this business. You can take your notes. You can ask the right questions. It'll show you step by step. It's a quick read, and it is actually a full mini course, Tax Lien and Deed 101. It's totally free. Like for years, I sold this thing. It was the best selling thing out there. Now I just give it away for free. And click the more info in the description. And if you want, you can even book a private session with us, and we will go ahead and build you a custom plan to save you 3 to 5 years of trial and error in this business. That's key. So that's in the description below. So most of you guys watching are probably new. Maybe you haven't even been to a deed sale. So the learning curve, it takes a little while to learn this business. And there's a lot of nuances in tax deed investing because a lot of people haven't heard of it. And I've mentioned before, the reason you haven't heard of this business is because there's no room for like a middle business to take its cut. Like, for example, in the traditional real estate market, you have like insurance companies, you have mortgage brokers, you have realtors, you have multi-billion-dollar businesses that are built around servicing, like taking a cut in between. Whereas with tax liens and deeds, the county doesn't allow anybody to come in. So there's no billion-dollar industry around it to make it mainstream. And then from there, you have half the states that are deed, half are lien, and every county is a little bit different, and things are often changing. So you need to be on top of it. So that's why this business is a great opportunity, is because a lot of people don't understand it. Now, one of the drawbacks of the business is we live in a world these days of just like quick, instant gratification. Now, some of you are going to watch this. You're going to go buy a deal, maybe tomorrow. We were on a call with a guy. We did a call with him in the afternoon. By the evening, he had purchased over-the-counter tax deeds, 7 acres with a brand new or a very new trailer on it. He bought the whole thing for $500, worth $4,000 an acre within 1 day of talking to us. So for some of you, that will happen, right? Now, for others, you might have to go to several sales before you get a home run or get a great tax deed. But let me ask you this question. Is it worth it? Say worst case scenario, you have to go to 5 sales, and on the 5th sale, you get an $80,000 house for $5,000. That can happen, and it does happen. The problem is we have folks that go to one sale, and then things get bid up. Maybe everything at that sale went for market value, and then they trash talk this business. Oh, it doesn't work. What's the point? It doesn't work. Everything was bid up, right? Or people will understand the rules maybe for their county, and then they'll see a video where I'm talking about a completely different state. And they're like, that's not how it works. Like, dude, there's 3,300 counties out there. So it's going to take you a little bit of work to do this business, but it's totally worth it. It's completely acceptable to go to school to become a doctor for 8-12 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And then, you're not even really making big money until many years in. But when it comes to real estate, man, if you don't go to that first, if heaven forbid, somebody takes, 5 or 6 hours of research and then 5 or 6 hours of looking at property, 3 hours to go to an auction, and they don't get a property after 12 hours put into the business. Holy cow. Sound the alarms. Go comment. Anyways, I'm climbing up the what do you call it? The stool here to give my speech, but I've just seen it so much. It's going to take a little bit of work. Okay. You're going to have to study. Like anything where there's money to be made, it's going to be competitive. However, this business is one of the biggest arbitrages that you're going to find when it comes to making money in real estate, because you can buy deeds for as little as $50. I've done it. It's happening every single day. Regular people are quitting their jobs using this business. I used it to get out of the oil rigs, and it's awesome and it's fun. It's going to take some work. You need to develop your expertise. You need to start researching your counties. And when you do get the deed, obviously protect yourself. Put insurance on that property, board it up. If you get it, protect it, change the locks. If there's a renter in it, go collect the rent. You may have to do sometimes what we call a cash for keys. if there's a renter in the property or even the homeowner, you want to get them out of the property. Actually, we'll probably do another video on that, but that's really A, ask them to leave. B, you might need to help, like get them a moving van or something like that to help them leave. So once again, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to do tax liens and deeds. Hit the thumbs up, ask a question in the comments if you want me to answer that in a future video. If you want some help with this stuff, there's a link below. You can go ahead and book a call with us and we'll make you a custom strategy plan, and only book these calls if you really want to transform your life through real estate. Okay. We don't just want to help folks, make a couple $100. Like, this is a business that can have serious impact on your life. So there's a link below in the description. We'll save you, 3 to 5 years of trial and error. And there's a link to the free mini course. Once again, this thing used to sell for like $100, totally free. It'll walk you through it. It's on demand. We don't ship it anymore. It's just free in the description below. So make sure to check that out. Once again, I really appreciate everybody tuning in. If you can take a few nuggets from this, if I can save you some time, save you some money, that's the name of the game. That's why we do it. And I have a lot of fun doing it. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.